Yikes! Yikes! Yikes!
You dare! And I've had enough of you! So guess what? Fuck you, Luke!
Poor wifey trying to
No.
ruin everything for me. All that I've worked so hard for. Even if we have to take you out of the picture permanently.
Hey, Andrew Clark! Okay, that's exactly what we need.
I can't stop you if you're willing to believe in this crap. Give this guy a call. You're better off talking to him than me.
Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to The Letter. So we are going to continue on with Zachary and he's going to talk to the professor about the photos that happen to be all messed up of Hannah, and let's see what he says. Of all the places, it never crossed my mind that I'll end up wandering into a public library today, considering I rarely ever visited. Somehow, there has always been this kind of disconnect between me and books in general. Sure, some of them held my attention in my youth during the brief times of days I was left on my own with nothing to do. I went through the whole of Grant's collection, as a matter of fact. Read more than twice, or thrice even, but they never did hold long for me. But they never did hold it long. Most of it never even sticked, especially after I learned it's simply easier to do things myself if I want to learn stuff. This ain't in the plan in the first place, but after Ashton went through the trouble to contact the professor, I can't just ignore it. Nothing but quiet greets me inside, though. Not the typical mom one would associate with a library, but one akin to hush prior to an impeding trouble. Or perhaps I'm just overthinking it again. I really like to think I'm just overthinking too much about this. That is just to keep the lack of sleep talking. Regardless, a part of the group of students murmuring in the corner somewhere, the place is free of its usual visitors. All the while, my footsteps echo in a manner unsettling enough to raise the hairs on the back of my neck. Much to my relief, it doesn't take too long to find him, being the only occupant in this side of the room. Professor Andrew Clark. I have never personally met the man, but Ash has spoken highly of him several times. In fact, he's Ash's go-to guy when something's troubling him with a case. My steps are unsure as I approach. At any rate, he greets me with a warm smile like a grandson he hasn't seen in a long time.
Ashton's friend, I take it. Zachary. You'll have to forgive this old man if I don't get your name right.
Oh no, you got it. It's Zach. Zachary Steele, Professor Clark.
He gestures at an empty seat across the table while he returns to his books. The next couple of minutes pass in relative silence as he continues to read and take notes from the pile he's accumulated on the table. Maybe I should have taken a book first before heading here? But before I can even get far into the idea, the professor clicks the book shut and sets it aside to stack the next to him.
Ashton told me you were hoping to get answers from. Although I'm not quite sure what I could share, I'll do my best to help.
Of course, there are a lot of things I want to ask. How to get out of this mess is the first among hundreds of concerns in my head. But in the presence of someone I barely know, the thoughts won't easily form. There's nothing but patience, however, and with enough time to mull over, a question finally forms.
Do you believe in the paranormal, Professor?
It's supernatural, actually. Don't worry. It's a common
interesting.
mistake to make. But they really are two different things. The other one deals with what we can't explain at the moment, while the other are things we may not have an explanation to.
I guess in a way he is right?
Here.
He places a couple of papers in front of me, the very same ones he was writing on earlier. A study of Luxburn's supernatural culture in a nutshell.
A friend of mine wrote that a few years ago. He took interest in the city after reading about the stories. I have to agree with him here. Even stories dealing with things you don't see with the naked eye can be rife with culture, and this city thrives on it. Just ask the locals.
Like ghosts, for example.
Among other things. The interpretation has changed over the years, though. Various religions, for example, have their own version. It might not always be a spirit now. It could be a memory, or an imprint, an echo, so to speak. Some are born from curses, even. Out of great anger, hatred, or pain.
I think it's a mix of all of that stuff he's just talking about.
There was this one story. Here it is.
Another book is pulled from the stack and placed open atop the papers, while he speaks with such passion that it makes me wonder if part of him believes these to be true. It is interesting, though, even if I'm personally not a fan of such stories, and soon hours pass without my notice.
In the end, it asked for something to be sacrificed in order to destroy whatever anchors the wraith. A sad tale, that one, but the simplest grudge can bring the ugliest, even in the kindest person, with some people none the wiser.
That's true, and that's why I believe Takako, when she was human, she was a very kind girl, and then just like all her anger and like hate towards Charlotte, or her sadness that Charlotte has caused on her, just turned into this evil spirit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just went on.
Nah, it's good. Are you familiar with the Ermengarde Mansion, though?
Of course. That goes without saying. Who hasn't heard of the local legend? In fact, you aren't the first one to ask me about that recently. Although, word of the mouth is, someone has already bought it.
Ah, yeah. The right couple. It was a close friend who handled that sale.
So I heard. Well, don't think the house being bought by anyone would stop us from talking about it. What is it about the mansion, then?
I just want to ask what you think of it, sir.
We're going to need more than an afternoon for that, young man. You see, it's the kind that has changed over the years, passed down from one person to the next. Sometimes, it's the Lord William who haunts the place. There are versions where it's the lady of the house. But my favorite, a personal favorite, would have to be the ones that followed after the disappearance of the kind daughter.
Well, what about these, then?
There's a moment of hesitation on my part before I pull out Mrs. Wright's photos and lay them in front of him. Unlike Ash, though, the professor inspects each print with great interest. That gives me some hope, at least.
When were these taken?
Just the other day. Do you think those are the same?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. There were certainly instances when the film would pick up what the human eyes weren't able to see. But then, it could also have been human error.
I didn't edit it in any way. You have my word on that, Professor. They all just came out like that.
Then, if it is what you're thinking, I'd strongly advise against doing something reckless and further tangling with them. Accounts about them may be riveting to you, but most of it often ends in an unpleasant manner.
Yes, that's usually what I say when people are like, let's go inspect the ghost of the house. Like, just don't leave them alone, okay? Because, like, they end up following you or they end up doing something. But in this case, doesn't matter if they don't mess with them or anything. Takako will follow them no matter what.
What about those people in the house? If there is something in there, shouldn't they know? I'm sure they're already familiar with the legends, but...
Some people might deserve it, however.
Whoa.
Deserve what, sir?
That's true. I mean, Luke? After he just murdered Hannah, yeah. All of a sudden, the tenderness in the professor's eyes disappear, his face becoming unreadable. As though catching himself, he hastily clears his throat, gathering his books and rising from his seat.
Professor?
I'm sorry. I just remembered something I neglected to do.
Awkward.
You'll have to excuse me, Zachary.
All right. Do you need any help with that?
Don't let my looks fool you, son. I can still carry a few hundreds. I've been doing this for years. I'll see you some other time if you have any other questions.
Of course. It was nice knowing you, Professor.
He doesn't hear it, however. In a few short strides, he's out the library, leaving me and every piece of this whole mess amidst the oppressive stillness. Despite the answers gleaned, more questions surface. If even there was a single way out of this, I hope we find it soon. Interesting. So, I guess it does have to do with something during a sacrifice, right? Because remember what Rebecca found in the library? It did mention a sacrifice, a ritual of a witch burning. So it does has to relate to that, and I guess we're going to connect the pieces when Rebecca does find that information with Zachary, so we'll see what happens.
So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photograph?
Said photographs have been sitting untouched since the day I dumped them into my drawer. Isabella goes very still when I hand her the small stack. To her credit, she does not flinch like I'm expecting her to, and flips through each one of it in silence. But when her eyes remain strangely calm, her hands have gone rigid and her mouth has set into a thin line. She, out of all people, understands what this means. In hindsight, she should have been the one I approached before Ash.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter? Did you ask him even?
I pause, glancing at him skeptically. I don't know where this sudden curiosity is coming from, but if Ashton, calm, cool, collected, always logical Ashton, takes interest in this, something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere. Or the world is ending. Second pass. The apocalypse I'm expecting to go along with it doesn't arrive, however.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on.
Oh my god, now that I think about it, I get that like 3 people have to die. Is that part of the ritual? Like, people have to die. Someone has to be sacrificed in order to lift the curse. Is that what's happening? Okay, we're gonna go keep looking for Ash. See you later. Okay guys, we're finally in Marianne's chapter, so unfortunately she has to die too. But as messed up as this is, I'm gonna make her sleep with Luke because I actually want to see what happens since she's gonna die anyway. I want to know what happens if we sleep with Luke. Okay, nothing, never mind.
Nothing, never mind.
To hell with it, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing this for the exact same reason I brought a man home before and the one before that. Didn't care about any of them. They were all nothing. Less than nothing. We parked for Aaron, then he but all rips my belt off without even bothering to take off his own jacket. We somehow make it safely into my bed, and I don't even feel it as he pins me down. Whoa. Whoa! Okay, wow! Alright! Great, I didn't know there was gonna be a CG for this! This isn't about pleasure, it's about punishment. There's nothing gentle about the kiss between us. It's all tongue, teeth, and roaming hands. There's no passion, only need. I don't know about him, but I'm not doing this to feel good. I'm not some nymphomaniac who gets wet at the thought of bringing random strangers to my place for a lay. It's ridiculous how, under the professional facade I like to put up, I do these sordid things. If any of my clients can see the Marianne McCullough now, all boozed up and having rough sex with some bloke from the bar, well, that's none of their fucking business, really. But still, everything after the drunken blur. Not that there's much to remember in the first place. These one-night stands were always the same, empty, meaningless sex. Flesh coming together, smelling of booze and sweat.
Mother of God, pray for us sinners.
I'm too busy trying to remember her hands touching during it all. I'm trying to remember her lips that kissed me, but how can I remember something that never happened? Oh, when it's all said and done, all I have to say is...
You were saying something while we were at it. What were you mumbling?
It was a prayer.
Like, oh God, fuck me? I like it.
God. No, it was a real prayer. A prayer for forgiveness. Because as I lie down in my bed, while he gets up to leave, I can feel my sins crawling on my back like spiders, filling me with their venom. I feel every inch that made me want to scratch my skin until it bleeds, while my heart pounds in my ears. Can't even register what Whiskey says when he whispers his goodbye.
Thanks for the good time, Marianne.
Awkward. Okay, so we're back in the house. Remember that sound Marianne heard the first time and Johans didn't do anything about it? Let's check it out. The crash came from the hallway and I really shouldn't be snooping about, but it's just concern. Yeah, concern that urges me to check it out. Sneaking in a glance at the butler, I consider sneaking off, but...
Excuse me, but where's the loo?
He barely looks my way before pointing a spatula towards the hallway. It's a good excuse as any. And if I'm caught lingering longer than I should, I could just excuse myself and say that I wasn't sure which door led to where. Oh, I don't like this. What is this? Still looking into the hallway reveals nothing. I don't see anything that might have caused the crash. The hallway, like the rest of the place, is a pristine condition. There are several doors for not only the toilet, but also presumably rooms for their butler and their other member of their staff. As I stand there, however, something feels definitely out of place. Oh, I don't like this! Oh my god, one of the doors, the nearest one within my reach, stands ajar, and from inside, a light flickers incessantly. It could simply be a light bulb that needs replacing, but the thought of it in its place so well taken care of seems off. I think that maybe this is where the crash came from. Ah! What if she's in there, the ghost? Takako! Inside, I can spy a radio lying on the floor. That's probably it, right? Maybe one of the help in a hurry to get out of the room knocked it over in the process? If that's all it is, I should really leave it alone. Ah! As I turn to leave, the sound of static fills the air and a man's tiny voice interrupts the silence.
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th-year dead.
Why am I standing here?
Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
Oh, it's Lorraine! This seems familiar, doesn't it?
Authorities are investigating the possibility of foul play.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like I've heard it before.
Reporting from St. Samthins, Shane McLaughlin of Galway Bay, AM.
What the?
I knew it! I knew it! This bitch was gonna do that! I recoil, backing away from whatever that was. In the process, I trip backwards on my feet and I wait for the pain of falling flat on my back. But instead, I feel a hand on my back and see the smug smile of, well, guess who?
Oh, don't tell me you're reporting to work drunk, Mint.
Of course, I know exactly who that voice belongs to. It just had to be him.
Marianne McCullough, hammered on the job. That would be something.
But, as if I had been burned, I pushed him away from me, and with a deep scowl on my face, even the slightest touch makes me sick. And that smug smile on his face makes me want to come in contact with him, if only to break his nose with my fist.
Is that any way to say hello to a good friend?
Ew.
We aren't friends. Let's get that straight first off, Mr. Right. Secondly, you're a married man, so that thing that happened shouldn't have happened.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me it wasn't even a little fun. A bit of a romp never hurt anybody.
No, it wasn't fun, and we shouldn't have done it. But since we did, let's pretend it didn't happen and never speak of it again.
I was drunk and had no self-control. Don't I get a free pass?
No, it doesn't matter you're drunk. What the hell are you talking about? I really can't believe this guy. I have to work, sir. That's no excuse. I have to work! I want nothing more than to punch the fucker and show him what for, but I have to remind myself to stay calm. No matter what I feel for this man, no matter how much I want to cuss him out and spew every profanity in the book and then some, he's still my client. I don't imagine that knocking the blow off one of more influential person of high society would go well with the rest of my unusual clientele.
It doesn't matter. I have work to do. I'm here to do my job. And if Whiskey has any ounce of sense in him, he'll know not to bring up this matter.
He must have some sense, right?
Or else what? I can't take that statement seriously without one of those.
Apparently not.
Whiskey will know not to bring the matter up, or else he'll get what's coming to him.
No, still not convinced. You tried, I suppose. Plus points for that.
The dead air between us, because it can't be anything else but that, is broken as a lively voice calls out from the loft.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long.
So awkward! Alright, so we're finally in the cell, and remember, this is the ghost of Lorraine, or Takako, asking Marianne if she would like to stay with her or leave. Unfortunately, Marianne needs to stay with her in order to die, so this is gonna suck a lot. But Marianne has got to stay, and I love Marianne so much. Oh man! I really do want to stay with her. I'm getting tired of pretending, of lying to myself. And the fact that I'm admitting to this myself now, a lot of all times, only brings to light how Lorraine was right about me all along. I should have listened to her.
But, Lorraine, you're dead.
I don't like this.
How can we even stay together?
I know. And it's your fault, isn't it? You tore us apart.
Oh, she's probably gonna be like, kill yourself and then you can be with me. That's probably what she's gonna say.
But now, you can put us back together again.
And now that I have a choice to fix what I have done to us, then who am I to do otherwise?
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
No! Don't! It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. Our reflection, a grown woman and a teenager barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light to this whole situation. Yeah, think? But aside from going through the mirror, right?
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
I'm scared she's gonna jump out. That's why I'm like flinching. Ah!
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. Why? This isn't the plan. This isn't closure! Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters, nothing else.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Though her smile remains, I can only describe her expression as sad. She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin on the crook of my neck, I can feel her hot breath on my neck. I'm filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surround me. My first taste of love, the love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or, even better, Prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
She presses something in my hand. A large glass shard from the wine bottle, cold and sharp.
You join me.
Holy crap, so I'm right! She's gonna make her kill herself! Is she suggesting that I...
Die for me.
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such a thing?
There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again.
Oh my god! Whoa! She guides my hand, raising the glass shard. My own hands are weak. As in my will, I can only bare my neck to do what she wishes. There is no reason, no self-preservation, as I mindlessly welcome my own death, as if it will lead me to my salvation. I feel nothing at first, other than the glass touching the skin caress, until a stinging sensation blooms from my neck. The pain sears and burns like nothing I've felt before, and every breath intensifies the feeling. Even if I want to cry out and scream, I can only cough, and a slick metallic taste coats my tongue. The most I can do beyond that is rasp out, calling her name.
Lorraine.
Cold and weak, I grow worse by the second. I cough with each ragged breath, expelling the blood that I'm inhaling through my slit throat.
Shush now.
Yeah!
It'll be
That's so
over soon.
creepy! Ew! There's a moment of doubt as I remember that the devil was once the most beautiful angel in heaven, that I shouldn't have been deceived by beauty. But in my final moments, all that soon is forgotten. My mouth twitches and I can muster the smallest smile anymore. But I'll be with Lorraine. Yikes! 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 Oh, another fragment, here we go! So in the last one, it was like, Takako found out Charlotte was cheating on the fiancé must have found out because Takako probably told him, and they got in a fight. Huh. Okay, another fragment unlocked. Okay guys, I'm gonna end this episode of The Letter right here. So that was extremely disturbing. I did not want to see that. But we got more information from Zach's chapter regarding the professor. But Marianne had to die, and we got another fragment. So at least we kind of pieced together the puzzle of what's going on. So I think I am right. Someone needs to be sacrificed, or a number of people need to be sacrificed. Maybe that's why 3 people have to die, canonically, in order to lift the curse. So we already killed Hannah in the mansion, and now Marianne is dead inside the mansion too. Because if you think about it, the other deaths, I'm pretty sure they happen outside the mansion, right? So there needs to be on the mansion grounds or within the mansion, maybe to lift the curse. So the last one is Ashton, and I know he will die in the mansion too, fighting against Luke. So, I don't know how this is gonna go, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of The Letter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Whoa! Whoa, 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 excuse me! Whoa, oh my god, okay.
Yes, sir.
Time, so I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. My nose is starting to get more red, which is not good. I did put blush on, just to make it look like, you know, Clementine is not pale.